Potential. I could see the consternation on the creatures' faces, alien to me as they were. It was a look I'd seen 1,000 times already. You are being saved because you have potential. I repeated the message to be sure they understood. Your planet has denied the cycle. It is wasted. It has... I usually struggled to find the right words. Embraced oblivion. At this, the creature at the head of its kin stepped forward, expressing some gesture of familiar sorrow. It looked up to my plain expression, trying to ascertain as to whether I shared its feelings on the matter. But that was not of consequence. You and your people are all with strength that remain, I went on, lowering down to meet the thing's gaze head on. In this fractal at least, it is time to move on. Despite the initial confusion, the head creature seemed to understand now what was being asked of it. It was more intelligent than most I'd shepherded then. You are wondering, I continued, uninterrupted, what awaits you. There is suitable space for you all. There is nothing to fear. Oftentimes, this vague reassurance was not enough. I might be met with incredulity, hostility, or even outright violence. But not this time. The creature simply strode toward the swirling vortex now manifesting before it, gestured to its comrades to follow, and one by one, they disappeared into the great beyond. And with a bow, I too was gone. We return to the United Nations of Earth. Lots going on at the moment. We've had 2 anomalies under research. We've got a colonization project underway. We are exploring 2 new systems. We still need to upgrade our lasers. We've got various researches going on. And well, today I'm going to talk a little bit more about exactly how you manage planets and what your actual populations and people are doing. Okay, so we got quite a lot to talk about here. First of all, though, let's look at the anomalies. So yeah, what was this? There was some kind of interference signal, if I remember rightly. Well, what do they say out in this far distant system? The Fahrenheit crew has succeeded in isolating a signal embedded within the usual pattern of interference in the edicts system. The signal is a song. A complex sonification of an advanced mathematical equation, to be precise, and one that Science Officer Takeru Yamatsu cannot seem to get out of their head. Who or what may have composed this song remains unknown, though its complexity infers an incredible level of technological sophistication regarding a subspace harmonics. The signal's geodesics suggest a point of origin from outside our galaxy. Now, that's kind of cool. A lot of that might have gone over your head. But listen, guys. In Stellaris, it is played on the Galactic stage, okay? You don't go to other galaxies, all right? You could play this, set it up as like a 2-arm spiral galaxy and pretend it's the Milky Way. You know, I set this up as a ring galaxy. You don't find other galaxies altogether. I mean, there's mods where you can kind of simulate that. And there is a very special thing where you can get out of the galaxy, but only briefly. There's not like multiple galaxies going on. But there are some stories and there are some events that deal with other extragalactic phenomenon. And here we've got a little hint as to one right there. There's so much to talk about. I hope that people who play this game know exactly what I'm alluding to there. But so yeah, that's pretty nice. And we got some society research and some physics research. And again, look at how much we get. I mean, it's like a year's worth all at once. So pretty happy with that. Now, our science ship that was doing that anomaly there has now taken a break. So you do want to watch out for that. You want to be careful. You'll notice here that we found was this a planet from yesterday? It was. This was the low gravity planet. We're getting a sense of where we're all set up to. So what we'll do is we'll continue exploring. This is the important system here. This hyperlane. Whatever is through here, we'll tell them to survey it straight away. Is probably going to open up to a lot of other stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if we encounter something drifting through space over there. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. And hey, look, they got a good little military with them here. I'm sure they'll be all right. So good luck, guys. So anyway, we've got a construction ship we just built, who can now build a starbase here. If we get a couple more alloys, we'll wait a second for that. We don't have to wait. There is a method of trading which we can deal with soon. But at the end of the month, he should have enough. As you can see, we've got 87. We need 13. And then the month's going to be over in 2 days here. And as soon as it ends, every month ends exactly in 30 days, by the way, in this. And a year isn't 365 days, it's just 360. So anyway, we'll build a starbase there, and we will claim this space. So we will now be Earth over 3 systems. And we got this cool idea that there are actually civilians regularly moving backwards and forwards now through this hyperlane to get to, say, this distant mining station. Like, if you worked here, well, they're building it now. But if you were going to work here, you'd feel so distant and remote right now from Earth. It would be really scary, honestly. But at the same time, you know, it's not years travel, it's just months travel. And you know, that's not too different from, you know, earlier periods of technology and civilization here on Earth, you know, where it would take months to travel various oceans and things, and weeks to travel oceans. And eventually, we're going to have people colonize this planet, and there'll be like this close connection between this planet here at Bernard's Star and whatever we have going on at Earth. This is going to become like the Heartland eventually, but for now, it just feels so spread out and distant and strange. So, that was one. The other anomaly, it looks like we're still working on. No, that's the surveying. This is the anomaly I think that we're doing here. No, that's just a survey. Did we finish both anomalies? No. Here you go. Life signs. We're working on it. This was the planet where somewhere beneath the surface there was some kind of organism maybe down there. And we just don't know what it'll be just yet. So that'll be quite curious. Right. The starport is almost built, our construction ship. And then it will get working on the colony ship. In the meantime, let's go have a look at Earth. And I want to talk to you guys about how most of this stuff works. So basically, I think the best place for me to start is to talk about populations. So here you can see that we have a current population of 25. And when we get 30, we get another building on the planet. Well, what's a building? We don't need to worry about that just yet. What's a pop? A pop is like an abstracted quantity, just suggesting, you know, it's a community of people. So we have 25 communities. So, I don't know, what do you guys imagine the population of planet Earth would be in the year 2200? You know, we got how many billion right now? 7 billion? Let's say that's unsustainable, or it becomes sustainable. Let's say there's maybe 10 billion people on Earth. So 10 billion divided by 25, you're looking at that many hundreds of thousand people in a pop. That's what a pop is. It's kind of whatever you imagine it to be. Now, the reason it's abstract is because you can play a ton of different stuff in this game. I haven't really shown you on the videos yet, but if you make different empires, you can play like tiny little cockroach empires. You can play giant, you know, mineral monsters that look like they're mountain-sized. You can do whatever you want. And so maybe a pop of mountain-sized entities is only like, you know, a few hundred. But maybe a pop of cockroaches is actually like hundreds of billions, right? You don't know. So that's what they're doing. They're letting you to imagine what a pop is for yourself. But in terms of gameplay, the pop number really matters. The way that you get resources from space is pretty clean and obvious, right? You build like some kind of station, some kind of orbital station, like this one over here. Oh, God, we went all over the place there. That is not what I wanted to do. I wanted to pick here. So say like this Jupiter... Oh, my God, I did it again. That's really, really weird. Oh, it's because when I'm clicking go to, it's taking me to this event that triggered. So this mining station here, pops don't live in. There's actually not that many employees here. There's not much going on. So people just go and work there, and, you know, you can imagine maybe there's a few hundred, tens, whatever. That doesn't really matter on the Galactic Empire scale. This doesn't actually take pops. And we're getting resources from space. That's cool. But if you want to get resources from planets, and planets can give you really advanced resources and really special resources and really high numbers of resources, if you want to get planetary resources, you need populations to work in them. So a mining district gives us minerals, 8 minerals, but you need pops to work the jobs. Okay, so when it says minor jobs plus 2, it means 2 full populations of people working minor jobs. It doesn't mean there's just 2 new jobs on the whole planet. It means there's like hundreds of thousands of new jobs in this like continental-sized region where we are mining, okay? And there's 2 pops worth of minor jobs in that mining district, okay? and there's 2 pops worth in any generator district. And if you have a city, the city can house 5 full pops. So, you know, 500,000 people. If we assume a pop is 100,000 humans, right? For the sake of humans. So, when you are looking at pops, just imagine it's lots and lots and lots of people. And if you wanted to fill up all of Earth with all the potential mines it can have, right? You want to make Earth a giant mining planet? You could do it if you wanted. But if you wanted to do that, most of the mining districts would be empty. Because there'd be no pops in them. Because we only have 25. And every new one's going to add a ton, right? So, the first thing to know is that on your planets, you need to grow pops. You start the game with about 25. And as the years and months go by, we're breeding. We're living our lives. We're enjoying ourselves. And we're making babies. So, there is a tab down here called population. And on the right, you can see what's going on. Okay? Generally, people are pretty happy with us. And as you can see, we are growing humans. We're getting a new pop. It's getting about 3% a month. And so after enough months, another pop will be born. And this will go to 26. And those people are going to want jobs. And we want to give them jobs because then we get more resources. So always at a planet in this game, the more planets you have, the more people are constantly growing and growing and growing. So you want to land grab really because then you're getting more and more and more pops growing in parallel. Not only can you grow pops, but you can build them as well. Now, we're just stupid humans. We don't really understand anything about robots yet. But one day, maybe we can make robots and androids and, you know, synthetic life forms and things. And those can grow and work in various kinds of jobs for us as well. And then if we're running out of food or we're doing other things, people are emigrating away because it's a horrible planet. And believe me, it can be a horrible planet. Maybe we can lose populations as well. Right now, this is a pie chart here. We have only humans that live here. And this is how we feel about the world, right? We're xenophilic. We're egalitarian in general. But a couple of us are xenophobic. We never picked that empire creation. But a couple of our populations are actually xenophobic. They don't like aliens. They don't like the unknown. They're fearful. So, that's the demographics page. And basically what this is telling us is our 25 populations, what jobs they currently work. So the most basic normal kind of job, right? Like if you've got technicians at a generator or you've got miners or if you've got farmers, those are basic worker jobs and they're represented by this bottom rung down here, this strata, okay? So basic jobs look like this kind of brown triangle. And you'll see here that we've got technicians. Power plants require plenty of warm bodies to operate equipment and oversee operations. Miners. With modern power drills and other advanced tools, mining may not be the back-breaking profession it once was, but it is still far from easy. And farmers. Farming looks mighty easy when your power is a pencil and you're 1,000 miles from the cornfield. So these are futuristic farmers and futuristic miners and futuristic technicians, but there you have it, right? And then there are also clerks. So clerks come from cities, okay? Farmers, miners, technicians, clerks. Cities mostly are filled with civilian trading and houses for people, okay? Because not only do we need to give our populations jobs, we need to give them houses. Cities give you those. And so clerks, as you'll see here, give us trade and they give us a few nice things, which we'll get to in a minute. So, white-collar workers perform the various administrative office tasks that are crucial to any sufficiently complex working environment. So that's most of the pops, right? We've got 25 people living on the planet. 16 of them are just doing these kinds of jobs. We've got 4 of each, right? And 3 clerks. Pretty basic. There's not much more going on there. There are some more special jobs. So let's look at the very top rung. There are some rulers, all right? So rulers would be our administrators, right? The administration of an entire planet is a daunting task that requires dedicated and highly trained individuals. So we have 2 pops of people employed in planetary administration. And they give us different stuff. Miners give us minerals in exchange for food. They eat food to live, so that it says their upkeep is food. These guys, however, give us different stuff. They are giving us unity, for example. And they're also giving us amenities. And then lastly, but there's not many populations can do this. We don't need many rulers, so there you go. Plus, we're egalitarian, so I'm sure that the importance of rulers is de-emphasized somewhat. And then specialists here are kind of in the middle, right? So these guys do kind of particular and different stuff. Remember alloys? Remember how I told you that because we have this building, not a district, a building, the alloy foundry, this created metallurgist jobs. Well, metallurgist jobs aren't basic ones, they're specialist jobs. And you can see here that these highly trained workers are needed to turn raw materials into the durable alloys that are used in a wide variety of advanced construction. So we are getting alloys from the planet. What's this here? This is an enforcer. Law enforcement officers are responsible for upholding the law and maintaining peace. So we have one pop working in law enforcement. And what's that doing? That's reducing planetary crime. And it's giving us armies for defending the planet, which is it's a whole own tab, this tab here. We'll look at that later. There are some artisans. We have 2 pops of artisans. These are skilled craft workers that manufacture domestic and luxury goods. And there are researchers. So these specialists, where are they coming from? The regular workers are coming from the districts. Where are the specialists coming from? The buildings. There's the alloy foundry. There's the planetary administration, which has created our ruling class, right? There's the research labs, which have created our researchers. And there's the civilian industries, a wide collection of civilian industries and manufactories where a variety of consumer goods are produced. So basically, to get stuff out of a planet, you want buildings or you want districts, ideally you want both, to have your pops work in and they'll give you stuff. Now down here you can see everything that Earth's given me. It gives me all kinds of stuff. Look at this. You got 20 energy, 23 minerals, 26 food. That's from these districts. There's research coming from this research lab, or these research labs. There's some influence coming from it as our capital. There's some unity. There's some consumer goods. There's some alloys, blah, 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 blah. So that leaves me to one final thing, and that is what are the problems you can have with running a planet of some kind? And we're going to have to think about this when we got the colony ship. Well, there's all kinds of things. Everyone needs houses. If they don't have houses, you have overcrowding, and that can lead to problems. You really want some kind of law enforcement. You can see we've already got some on this planet. Otherwise, there can be crime, and that can lead to problems. And people also need amenities and consumer goods. Consumer goods basically will keep people happy and working their jobs, and amenities are needed to allow them to exist. So here, what we can do is check this out. Crime. Crime is a measure of the overall level of criminal activity and lawlessness on the planet. High levels of crime cause negative events to happen. It's naturally caused by just having a high population, and it can be reduced by increasing people's happiness or by employing enforcers. So we don't have that big of a population yet, so we don't have to worry. Housing. Housing represents planetary infrastructure dedicated to housing the population. A planet that does not meet the housing needs of the population will suffer penalties to their stability, and people might emigrate away. You can increase housing by constructing extra city districts or buildings that are good for housing. Amenities. Amenities represent planetary infrastructure and jobs dedicated towards fulfilling the day-to-day needs of the population. A planet that doesn't meet the amenities needs of its population will suffer penalties. And so then you can see the amount of jobs there are and how much unemployment there is. So this little section here, this is like, okay, you need these things fulfilled. They need houses, and there's 7 available, so that's fine. We can grow 7 more pops before anyone needs a house, so that's not a problem. We need amenities for people to be happy, and there's 7 amenities there. We're providing more than enough from our administration and our cities. Cities give us housing, and they give us clerks, which create amenities. And then finally, you know, are there any jobs available? So we do have a problem on Earth right now. Someone was born here, or, you know, hundreds of thousands of people have been added to the population. We've got a new pop, but that pop could be put to work in general. So the question is, what do we want them to work on? We can build something for them to go do. And that will keep them happy, and that will keep them employed and keep the crime down and stuff. So every now and then, you just want to come back to a planet and see if there's any problems here. Do they want more amenities? Maybe you work on that. Do they want more housing? Maybe you work on that. Do they need jobs? Are there not enough jobs? And so on. So very basic right now. And we can just pick. Well, I like to stick with districts. Well, okay. And then we got 2 buildings we could build. And you get more building slots the more people that live here. So once 30 people live here, we can have another building. And once 40 people live, 35, we can have another, all the way up to 75. I like to fill out the districts nice and early, but you might, if you want to take to space really quick and, you know, do stuff with your ships, you might want to just build an alloy foundry really quickly so you get even more alloys, right? Like, we're building up a lot of minerals here. Maybe we want as many alloys as possible. So I think what I will start with is, since we actually have lots of minerals, and since we have lots of money, and since we have lots of food, and since we have lots of housing, I don't need a district right now. I will tell the people of Earth to build a new alloy foundry, and these pops can go work in those foundries. And what that's going to do is going to give us more specialist metallurgists. And here, what do metallurgists do? They take 6, you can see upkeep, they take 6 minerals, they take food, they take consumer goods, and they turn it into alloys for us. Yeah? And that's a trade I'm happy to make. And that'll be our second alloy foundry on the planet. It's going to take them about a year to make. Look at that, 328 days to build it. But once it's built, we'll start accelerating this. We don't need this many minerals, but we do want more alloys. So that's cool. There are other things I could make. Look at this. I could do more research labs, more resource silos, precinct houses. I could do all kinds of things. And new technologies can give us new ones as well. I think what I'll do as well is I will queue up a research lab afterwards. So by the time the alloy foundry is built, and then by the time the research lab is built, it's going to have been like a long time. And you never know. We might have had another pop generally be ready to be put to employment at that point. And they can all go work in research. Different people are good at different jobs. So, like, remember humans? We have human traits. If I come over here to the species page, remember that we are adaptive and we're nomadic and we're wasteful and all these things, right? We take extra consumer goods as humans. Sometimes you'll find, okay, this race is really good working in mines. And now I want you to imagine that this pie chart doesn't just say human. It's got loads of aliens on it. Well, the ones that are good at working in mines will choose to do those jobs. And the ones that are good at working in energy will do those ones, or whatever, right? So the game will generally have... The people will decide for themselves where they want to live. But if you want to overrule them and say, no, I just want you all to work in this thing, you can favourite or unfavourite a job. I'm going to leave it generally as it is right now, because there's not even that much to do right now. So there you have it. We're making 2 new buildings because generally our districts are okay. This will all become a lot more relevant in just a second when the colony ship's there. Moving over, the anomaly was finished. Silicon life forms. This was the mystery below the surface. Look how cool that planet looks. Some kind of burrowing silicon-based life form inhabits a vast network of tunnels beneath the barren surface here. As best we can tell, the creatures feed off rocks, and there is evidence to suggest that they possess a rudimentary form of intelligence. Their tunneling efforts have shuffled large amounts of valuable minerals to the surface. So again, more alien life, but not like intelligent life. It's weird because they live somewhere that we never thought things could live before. But look at this, by completing this, we realize that there are actually minerals available here now. See? So we just increased the value of this whole solar system. Through hard work and experience, scientist Anaya Pilali has just developed new skills. That's cool. So she's one of our scientists, like our head researcher scientists. And by the way, you can unemploy her here and put her in a spaceship if you want. It's your call. Who was it? This is Lindsay Glover, Lena Richter, Joanna Stewart. Sorry, no, she's in one of the science ships, right? It's not you. It's her. Interesting. So here, she is now an expert in material science. So I could do exactly what I just said. If Lindsay's next card pulls has something in material science, I could put Lindsay in the ship and I could put this person up here and we'd be good. Speaking of which, by the way, this will be done pretty soon. So anyway, off they go. We have a construction ship over here that's not necessarily doing very much. And we want to figure out where we want to send them, right? So I could have multiple construction ships in parallel doing the same thing at the same system. But in general, I'm just going to move this guy to Sirius, okay? So he's going to travel off through both hyperlanes on his own. He knows how to do that, and we can put it back up to a decent speed here.
Construction completed.
He can go do both of those, and he won't, you know, have any problem, and he'll be ready for when we want to actually claim that space. Moving over, this guy just finished at Bernard's Star. He can go wait over there for them. This guy just built this starbase. And so what we can do at this starbase is tell them to build a mining station at the 1 star. That was all that was really going on here, which was a bit of a shame. After he's built that, we can queue him to move. Actually, we already had someone going there, right? After he's built that, we can queue him to wait near this mystery hyperlane here. Okay, so he will do both jobs, and he's waiting here for, in a few months, when we get a scientist, will come through and explore that. He can't explore it on his own. A science ship needs to go through first. That's what I was explaining last episode. Another strategic resource. This is crazy. What have we found here? We got really lucky in terms of these. The Celsius discovered it again. A previously unknown strategic resource, dubbed volatile motes. These preternatural particles contain a tremendous amount of energy which could be exploited in energy production as fuel or even as explosives. While we don't possess the means to extract it, we should seriously consider establishing control of the system for future exploitation. Well, that's exactly what we're going to do here. Wow, and it's just on this asteroid. Which is a pretty horrendous texture, I must say, but hey, that's sort of the way that it goes. So over here, you'll see that there's this red icon on the outliner near Earth. That's always going to draw your eye. That's going to tell you there's a problem, and an important one if it's in red. And that problem is that, hey, there are people unemployed. You could get them to go work, which is exactly what we're doing once these alloy foundries have been built.
Research concluded.
We don't really have to worry about that too much. Okay, so a new research. So, planetary unification. Now, this is pretty cool. Ancient warring tribes, historical nations in conflict now united. What did this do? Well, this gave us more unity. We now know what unity does. Okay, that's for our traditions. And we're doing discovery, remember? And we've unlocked a feature.
System survey concluded.
Additional edicts campaigns. So, what are those? Well, we'll look at those in 1 second. In the meantime, we just finished a society research. Oh, no, that was it. Duh. It's the event I was looking at. I was going to look at. Okay, so what do we want to do now? Biodiversity studies, society research increase, a stronghold. There may come a time when intellects vast and cool and unsympathetic regard our worlds with envy and draw plans against us. We must be ready. Now, this one's quite cheap. I think I will accelerate our society research for now, though. I'm not too interested in either of these buildings yet. You see, these are buildings for planets. But we don't even have many slots, and we've just filled those 2 in, so we're not going to need these. So let's just do this for now. Okay. Then we got this. What on earth is this? The Fahrenheit crew are eager to report that they have uncovered the remains of an ancient spacefaring species who appear to have inhabited this planet some several million years ago. While it's unclear why this species, who call themselves the Grenure, disappeared from the edicts system, our scientists have isolated a promising archaeological dig site on their planet. Perhaps further study will yield more clues. So, the Grenure. Now, Is that not? Yeah, there you go. I was going to say, that was really crazy. We've discovered a new archaeological site. So archaeology is a new feature, a really new feature. I haven't told you guys this, by the way, but in like the middle of this month, they're going to do a new expansion for this game, which deals with all kinds of stuff to do with diplomacy. I'll get to later. But one of the more recent changes they did was they added this idea of archaeological sites, which is basically, you know how we had an anomaly at the planet before? We've had a couple of anomalies. Archaeological sites are like really long-term anomalies. You're going to put a science ship there, and they're going to be researching it for ages. Like ages and ages and ages. So we can consider doing that, but I think I'll get a new science ship to do so. And here you can see, this is it. So we'll deal with archaeology soon. We'll need to assign someone to work on it. It's all the way up here. We'll claim the space later, and then we'll get going on it. But for now, we'll just know that that's there. And we'll find out the mystery. They're like more long-term, better quests, basically. The devs came back to the game later and kind of realized, right, we want to do this a bit different. And so now you get anomalies, and you get events, and you get archaeology. So that's our first archaeological site. Should be cool to see. And I genuinely have no idea what will happen in those, because a lot of that's content I haven't played, because it's very new. I haven't done a big playthrough, not like this in these videos, for like a couple of years now. I think I last played when the Apocalypse expansion came out, which for any Guild Wars 2 fans watching me, was a day after Path of Fire came out. That was my last big playthrough, right as POF came out. Anyway, so let's now have a look at edicts, or edicts. So on the sidebar here, we have different things we can look at. You've already seen a few, like the technology page, okay? Or like
completed.
The leaders page here. lists out all of our leaders. We have 1 governor. We got lots of scientists, 2 admirals. We could get a general as well for army purposes. We won't worry about that just yet. There's no reason to. And there's loads of different things we can look at. What I want to look at now, though, is this edicts page. So what these are essentially big empire modifiers that you pay for and will only last a certain amount of time. So I could spend 1,000 energy credits on this education campaign. And it says, back to school, by momentarily spending resources to promote higher education programs among our leaders, their skills will improve at a faster rate. So for the next, this will cost me 1,000. This will cost most of the money we've earned through the campaign so far. But if I do it, for the next 11 years, all my scientists and my admirals and everyone, they're all going to get smarter quicker. They'll level up, they'll get new traits quicker, which will make us quite formidable. Or recycling campaigns. The populace must be taught to limit wasteful consumption of resources. A public awareness campaign to promote recycling will momentarily lower our consumer goods costs. So this would be nice, since this is one of the things we suck at. We're wasteful, right? That would get rid of our wasteful perk kind of thing for like 11 years. Over here, healthcare, diet, regular exercise, and sleeping patterns all combine to affect the health of our population. By promoting a healthier lifestyle, their life expectancy will go up. Don't tell them that. Half the people watching the video, I'm sure, are putting off going to bed right now. Don't worry, guys. You don't need regular sleep. It's fine. Keep chugging the Mountain Dew. It's fine. But that would be good. That increases our population growth speed, which I'll just tell you now is one of the strongest things in this game. You really do want to build your population growth speed fast. So I will probably do the healthcare campaign in a second. Then, excuse me, there are these 2, which cost influence. We don't have to worry about these 2 just yet. I want us to... Actually, we've got a lot. I can do map the stars. This edict pushes for further galactic exploration to bring light to the darkness and find what wonders lie beyond. So this increases our survey speed by another 25%. Do you remember one of our traditions already did that? It increases our anomaly chance as well. So I will map the stars. I will spend influence to map the stars. Then there's a bunch of these with unique strategic resources, which we don't have, so we don't worry about those just yet. But yeah, so I'll do that, and I'm going to spend 1,000 on healthcare campaigns to speed up our population growth. Speaking of population growth, let's look at our food. We have 1,400 food. Let's go back to Earth. There is another thing that you can do on Earth that I didn't show you guys. You can make special decisions, planet-specific orders, or practices that can be temporarily enforced. So this is like an edict, but just for this one planet, okay? Spend money, give it a modifier for a little while, or spend something. So here, we can declare martial law. It would cost us 50 influence to do it, but suddenly our soldiers would be providing more stability. It would give us thousands of new soldiers on the planet. There'd be 2 new soldier pop job spaces. But it would also cause everyone to be worse at their work, 33% worse jobs, and it would cause people to grow slower. So we're not necessarily up for that, all right? We don't have any problems on Earth. We're okay. We're fairly utopian right now. You could discourage planetary growth. You can distribute to luxury goods, which increases people's amenities and changes the immigration pool, so more people want to come live here. That's fine. We don't need any of that. But this one's really good. Look at this. For 1,000 food. Now, we've been building all of this food here, and we're about to go live on an ocean planet, which has got really good for food. If we spend 1,000, we can increase the pop growth speed by 25%. Now, that's pretty good. We could have done this a few months ago. We could have done the edict a few months ago as well, and we really would have been building up here. So I'm going to do that as well. So the 2 things combined now... this planet is currently encouraging growth via the generous distribution of proper nutrition. By doing both of those, if we have a look at our population demos here, you'll see that we now are growing a lot faster. Well, a bit faster. I mean, base growth of 3, and then the 2 modifiers together, we're actually getting 4.405. So we're a quarter faster, right? 35%. So there you have it, really. And that's just a nice little thing we can do. We can afford the money. There's no problem there. And now we're just kind of waiting for our colony ship to be built, which, as you can see, is taking its time. We've got another half year to go for that one. Over at Earth as well, we've almost got the first building done in 144 days. That's good. We can pick up another tradition. So we did To Boldly Go before, We can now do data bank uplinks. High-capacity quantum bands dedicated to data bank transfers make possible virtually completely synchronous research operations across vast distances. What does that mean? Well, any research stations we build in orbit are 10% more worthwhile. That's pretty cool. And, you know, we've got a couple of those. Not many just yet. That is not the same as a research lab on a planet's surface. These are actually way, way stronger and do lots. Like a research lab will give you all 3 types of research at once. The orbital stations will only give you like 1 type, right? But still, it's okay. And it's a nice little perk for us that we can quickly nab. You'll see, once I've started laying the groundwork here and explaining most of these concepts to you guys, we will be able to, you know, rush through a lot of this pretty quick, to be honest. You can make a decision quite fast once you know what's going on. And it's one of the reasons why I actually kind of like the idea of playing full real-time Stellaris at a fairly quick speed and just going for it. You know, I've been getting annoyed here that this one guy doesn't have a laser. Which ship is it? I wonder. We could just disband the ship, to be honest. But we wouldn't get our money back from the alloys. This guy has lasers. This guy doesn't. It's the UNS Parang. All right, go on. We'll just upgrade. Go on. You can stop following the science ship. Right. So, everyone's doing something. The Celsius just stopped. Look at all the stuff the Celsius found here. Ooh. Okay. All right, we found something. Something just happened. We have encountered some form of alien vessel it's in this system. Where? Oh, they just arrived. Ooh, some form of alien vessel in the Barana system. These strange objects have been flagged as devils until we can learn more about them. We should proceed with caution. Contact report, enigmatic spacefarers. The United Nations of Earth has finally encountered fellow wanderers among the stars. Despite their intentions being unknown and potentially even hostile, the atmosphere on Earth following the report from our contact fleet can best be described as rapturous. Because we're xenophilic. We like this idea. I'm so nervous, guys. Okay, so... Oh, I'm really nervous. I'm really nervous. Okay. So basically, this ship is one of the alien empires, okay? We don't know anything about it. We've codenamed it Devils. We don't know whether they'll be friend or whether they'll be foe. We can see that their ships look very different to mine. Looks like a rocky kind of crystalline ship. It's actually known as a lithoid ship, okay? So whatever built it might not be a life form, anything like us. And, well, we don't even know what it's trying to do. It's just sort of traveling around. Probably researching and sciencing in the same way that we have been. And it has roamed really close to Earth here. So we have a few choices. Now, I just want to be very clear. In the vanilla game, nothing really much happens here. What happens is you get a special project in your situation log and you click it and then you learn who they are and you find out where they are, and it's really boring. One of the main things that I've done with the game is I've changed that to be closer to what Stellaris was when the game originally came out, and it emphasized the idea of first contact. So we don't know the motivations of these guys, and we won't be able to find them out for a long time. We don't really know anything about them. If you look, we do have... So we got the habitable worlds we were looking for. We have the energy mandate. We've got the archaeology site. And now there's investigate devils. So we have encountered mysterious alien vessels in space, codenamed the Devils. If they possess a language, we can decipher it and establish communications at their homeworld. There's little time before this opportunity to spread our influence passes, and Dolores Mwanga recommends haste. Rewards, influence from further special projects. So influence is like our political clout, not just amongst our own people, but amongst alien empires too. So if we decide to research them and find out what they're going to do, then we can get influence. But if they do it first, then they'll get the influence. So I have to decide if I want to go for this. The downside is that there's a chance these guys will be hostile and they might attack me really quickly. And we might be in a space fight in like literally a few seconds here. So we'll have to see. What I can do is I can click track on map, and you will see where it came from. And it's all the way over there, surrounded by orange. And we don't know how to even get there because we don't know how the hyperlanes line up. I would suggest that since these devils got this close, their borders must be pretty near. I mean, they are really, really, really close. So I'm pretty concerned about that. We're going to have to be careful here. We just sent these guys back to deal with these lasers. Oh, and there's a lot of different stuff that can happen. Do I keep close? I can send my ships to keep track of it and orbit it, or what? I guess we'll see. That will be for next time, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Oh, God. I thought that today we were just going to be on the ocean planet, and that was going to be it. But we haven't even colonized it yet. The spaceport is about to be finished. Oh, man. We'll see. So thanks, guys. I'll see you next time, and we'll figure out what kind of aliens we're really amongst here.